Renovation,
Part 2, Episode 167.
I'm Sheila, also known as Sheila D37.
And I'm Wendy, also known as Penny Wendy. And if this is your first time watching, thank you for checking us out. And if you are a return viewer, welcome back. We have a bunch of shout outs at the top of the show.
Yes. Why don't you mention the first one?
There is an audio podcast out there called Two Knit Lit Chicks.
Try saying that.
I know. That's a tongue twister if I ever heard one. And they are also holding a charity knit-along, crochet-along right now for the Mother Bear Project. If you want to learn more about the Mother Bear Project, you can check out their website at motherbearproject.org. And basically, it is a group that distributes donated knitted or crocheted bears to children who are affected by HIV or AIDS in developing countries. Primarily, they said in their information, in Africa. And Two Knit Lit Chicks thread or group on Ravelry, and I'll link to all this stuff in the show notes. They are offering prizes for people who donate as well. So shout out to them because, as you know, we are doing our charity knit along this month along with our usual stash busting thread.
And it's running, our charity knit along's running until July through August. Right?
Until September 1st, which is the same with the Two Knit Lit Chicks. Hard time saying that. So that's two options. If you're interested in doing both, you have ability to win prizes in both, and I will just announce, Sheila, you can announce that one. I will announce that, do you have the pattern on your...
Yeah, alright, I was going to do something else, but okay.
Sorry. So, Knit Designs, who is the designer, I hope I'm saying this right. Tian Kanaten. I'm sure that's wrong.
We apologize.
We're really sorry. I can see that, I don't even know, it could be a different pronunciation. She has donated, well, she kindly gifted us each a copy of this pattern, which is wonderful.
Mash Pichal Lab.
And she has also offered to donate a copy of this pattern or any of her other patterns, you pick, to one of the winners of our charity knit-along. So that's another prize that has been added to the existing pot, which is 2 skeins of yarn and a $50 gift card.
And we, just a little note on the 2 skeins of yarn. I got a text yesterday, actually, from someone stating that, and I want to say thank you, Melissa, which is Meliabella, that the yarn is actually Valley's yarn or Webb's own yarn base, Valley Yarn's yarn base, and it was hand dyed specifically for them by Lorna's Laces. So
that's great.
It's Valley Yarn's hand base.
So that's why it had that weird code that we were wondering
about.
Valley
Yarn's 40th anniversary, hand dyed by Lorna's Laces. That's how it goes. So thank you, Melissa, for letting us know more information on that. So one winner will, randomly chosen, will win a skein of wool mize. It's the Wear Different Twin 80/20 Superwash wool in nylon. It is 510 yards. There is a name underneath, Aspen something or other, so I really couldn't tell you what it is, but it's very pretty.
It's beautiful, and we were saving this wool mize skein for a special prize, and we think that this charity knit-along is it. So I'm going to be adding a list of prizes to the first post in the charity knit-along contest thread, so that you can see a picture of the yarns that we're giving away. I'll show you, I'll write down that there's a Webb's gift card for $50, and also the Knit Designs pattern, Mash Pichal or other. I'll link to her available pattern page so you can all look. So now that's really good. Now we have 5 prizes. I'm still going to donate something from my personal stash. I just have to have more time to look in there and see what I have that I can give away. But yeah, I'm probably going to donate yarn. But yeah, this is one of the new prizes. It's very yummy.
And I want to just say thank you to Tracy, TB McCarthy. She is, I believe, one of 2 people from Moms with Yarn.
Oh, yeah, Moms with Yarn.
And they have a podcast, and on their 7th episode, they mentioned our knit-along. So thank you very much for mentioning our charity knit-along.
Yes, thank you.
Every shout-out helps.
And the more people, the more people we can get to donate shawls to this charity, the greater number of people we can help.
Yes, absolutely.
Get a comfort shawl. And I know I personally have plenty of shawls in my stash that I'm not using that I can donate.
I'll have to look. I usually give mine as gifts.
I have that.
But I just want to say that when my son was born, Zachary, when he was born, I got a prayer shawl, and it made me feel really good about it. I mean, it was just very thoughtful of the person who gave it to me. So
yeah, any little thing like that, it adds something. Mm-hmm. To have some unknown person's care come through to you, it means something. And I know that at our local children's hospital, they give out a little bear that's sewn out of cloth. It's just a simple teddy bear shape. It's not 3D or anything. It's like a flat shape, but it's stuffed. And that always made my kids feel better in that situation, to have somebody gave them something that they could, tangible, that they could hold on to. And it is like getting a hug from somebody. So, thank you for everybody. And thank you to Elizabeth
for donating money to the podcast.
Who donated money to the podcast. We will be able to use that to help send any shawls that we want to donate or that get sent to us or given to us by people who see us in person, that we can send to
Lease.
And unless we decide to drive out there and go to Ebbs, in which case we will use that money to send out prizes.
Yes.
So it'll be good. I think we got all our shout-outs.
I think we got all of it out, yeah.
So I'm going first this
one more,
week.
Just a reminder that we're doing our stash knit along, crochet along.
I vaguely mentioned that at the beginning, but that's still going on.
Right, that's through the month of July.
And we will draw a prize winner for that too. Yeah. So that's, if you don't have, I'm saying use stash yarn to knit a charity shawl, and then bing, bing.
2 entries.
2 entries, man. So
there you go. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
2 birds with 1 stone. All right, so on the needles. I did not knit or crochet much this week at all. I still have the alien doll. I did not even crochet a tiny bit more on the alien dolls.
How's that for her birthday?
It is. Her birthday is at the end of September, so I have a little time. I can't find the part that I'm still working on, but it's... Oh, here it is. I didn't do any more than this.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
This is the back of the hood that will go on her. It is the Rita the Rabbit by Lolly Lala Designs, and it is the same designer that did the Mushroom Boy. And if you buy one of her patterns of dolls that has a hood on it, he's in there.
I know, I was just looking for him.
He's in there with my gnomes. If you do any of the designs that have like a hood, you can use her free instructions to make Rita the Rabbit. The design also comes with a cross-stitch flower on the front, but I'm not going to do that because that's too fussy. But this is really a quick pattern. The only reason I haven't been knitting and crocheting much is because my husband and I are doing a lot of work on my house. As you can see, here's some plaster work that I am in the middle of. Oh, yeah. You can see all around the room.
Yeah.
There is plaster work. Yeah, that's what I've been doing the last few days. That and dealing with the crazy Romanian man who called me about my flooring.
Oh.
But I'll talk about that later. Okay. I'm assuming he's Romanian. I don't know. I couldn't really identify the accent. So that's number 1. Number 2, the Star Leaves Shawl by Jenny Johnson-Jonan. I did knit a few more rows of the chart. I'm almost all the way through the first chart. You can see the little leaves are starting to show up. There's a leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going great. As I said before, I have made some kind of an error where this goes down like that. These little row, let's see if I can hold it right. This little area goes down. It should be pointing up.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I probably needed to do one more repeat.
Oh. I'm
not really clear, but for whatever reason, it affects my ability to use the charts not at all. Like, it still comes out right, so I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to roll with it. So, yeah, it's my own super special modified version of this. But it's, it's coming out totally normal so far, and I guess I'll just hope that at the end I don't have a problem.
Oh, good.
But I'm enjoying knitting it. I did meet with a friend for coffee one day this week, and I did a little bit of knitting there on that. And I am knitting it out of Fleece Artist Saldana 2 lace weight in the Stardust colorway. That really was from Siberian Cat, Penny, who may or may not have donated that. Oh my, I can't remember.
I don't want to say she did. I don't think she did.
I'm going to look in the back episodes to see if I can figure it out. Because I really do want to give that person credit since we are now giving away. We should write down on these things who donated it.
That would be an organized podcast.
Poor record keeping on our part.
Yes, very poor.
Whoever you are, we appreciate it. And those are the only things that I have on the needles right now.
Me. I've been a bad podcaster. I really haven't knit all week. It's been kind of hot in my house. And I don't know about anyone else, but when I look like crap. When it's hot in the summertime, my hands get very sticky, and I have no desire to knit.
And it's been very hot recently.
It has been. Today's actually kind of nice, so I'm sure. Yeah, it is.
I haven't been outside.
It's like 84.
I'm stuck in the house.
It's 80. You're not stuck in the house. Don't do it that way.
You don't know my husband. I've been doing this. Oh. It's not like I'm locked in the house. I just have a lot of stuff that has to be done in the house.
It's 80 degrees right now, actually.
It's not too hot,
and
though.
It feels like 80.
No,
it's not hot at all.
It felt so hot the other day. It was so humid.
Yeah, the humidity is very low. It's only 40%. So
I
haven't been knitting. I still have yet to finish my shawl, and I don't even have it with me to show you. But I am getting closer. I keep hoping.
So that's
good. And when I'm done with it, I think I need a nice chunky project.
That's a good idea.
So I have my sock to show you, which is just a generic sock. I probably did about this much just today alone at lunch. And my coworkers were looking at me a little
They'll get used
bizarre. To it. Yeah, they will. Some of them have seen it. And one was like, "Oh, this is nice and soft." I'm like, "It is. You're not getting it. This is mine." So unfortunately, that's all I have to show. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. You're a working woman. You don't
oh
have
my
time
god, I don't. I have no desire. So I've been able to sleep like an hour later. That's than I used to.
And you don't have to work the overnight job anymore.
No, I haven't done that. She did call though.
Yeah.
She asked if I could work a weekend. I'm like,
oh my god.
Sorry, I'm actually working my other job that weekend.
I hope you said I no longer work for you, so.
I didn't quite put it that way, but so.
I would have.
No, because she's nice. She was really nice. They gave me a couple of. She was really nice.
I know they were really nice, but I would
just turn them down and say I can't do it. That's all. I wouldn't.
Okay.
You're different than me.
I wouldn't be rude about it. I wouldn't say get off my phone.
I just told her I can't do it.
I would just say no, and I don't think I'll be able to be doing that for you. But thank you for thinking of me. Like I wouldn't burn a bridge.
Yeah, I don't know why she was thinking that I would, but
what the heck?
Anyways, so but I've been coming home and just crashing.
Yeah,
I'm still getting adjusted. I did do a load of laundry yesterday. Granted, it was laundry I needed to do for my work. Like I have no more scrubs, and I need to get scrubs.
Yeah, I did all the laundry yesterday.
And I've been able to cook dinner. That's about it. That's about all I have the energy for. Last night I went to bed between 10 and 10:30, and it was nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, what's next? Rate your date.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Nothing this week.
Hopefully next week. I will try and go home.
You should next week. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I said this week, too.
It's just a few rows.
I know, but they're long rows, and it's been hot out, and I'm done with it. I am so done with the shawl. And nothing against the shawl. It has nothing to do with the shawl.
I know that this is about me.
I would have been done with it.
I do really feel bad about that. Friends don't let friends tell them what to do.
Lesson learned on my part.
Really,
But I'm hoping that not only will it be done next week.
Frisk me for drugs if I ever offer you any advice again.
Not only will I hopefully be done with it next week, I hope to have it blocked.
Hey, don't stress yourself about the blocking.
Well, no, because if it doesn't get blocked, then it will never get blocked.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can give it to me if it's not blocked, and I will block it for you.
You ain't touching it. I don't trust your cat.
No, I have a new system where I block it behind a locked door.
I don't care. You ain't touching that shawl.
Cut off.
You're cut off. You are not touching that. Oh, my God.
I wouldn't let me touch it either. So, Whirlwind Romance. I do have a Whirlwind Romance. I finished my Warm and Cool project.
Those came out so much different than after
than
you
even
applied.
It looked. I know.
I didn't think there was going to be that much of a difference.
Me either. They looked so close. I was kind of panicking.
But so they are so not close
They're
at
completely different. But I was nervous because there are parts of them that are very similar. You know, I couldn't completely separate what I needed to, but they came out pretty good.
Yeah, what are you going to do, the mittens?
I'm doing the Death Flake mitten.
That should be...
I'm sitting there waiting for it to open again, which I have queued right up. Oops. But, of course, that is what I am doing with them. I got 256 yards of the darker color and 195 yards of the lighter color, and I still have some... probably half an ounce of fiber left over, which could go either way.
Oh, really?
So I figured if I ran out, but according to People's Project page, this should be more than enough. And I want to show off, the last time I went to my scrapbooking night, I made these little tags.
Aww.
I had a bunch of these tags, and I just can write my information on them.
That's good.
I made some that were blue, too. That one says, express yourself. And this one says, grace and beauty. And it was kind of fun to do, and I have a stash of them right over by my my little box there.
Oh, good.
And so when I spin, I write down the information. So I almost cast this on last night just because I wanted to be knitting something like a quicker project.
Right.
This is going to go pretty quickly. It's color work. It's knit on a size 1 needle. And even though this is very puffy, because I did...
I was going to say, like, quickly.
It's fingering me.
I know, but I just don't see how that's quick. But
oh, I like color work. It goes fast. So, yeah, I'm really happy with how that came out. That was a really fun experiment, and I have to thank Diana Nas for coming up with it. She did it slightly different idea, but pretty much the same. And that is a cool way to use a heavily variegated bump that you don't know what else to do. Split it in half and spin the warms and the cools together, and you get 2 completely different yarns.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be cool. I can't wait to see what it looks like knit up. It could look really nice. It could look horrible. I have no idea. I'm just excited to find out. So that was a fun experiment.
Okay.
That was my finished Whirlwind Romance. And here is my ongoing Whirlwind Romance. This is 2 days of spinning my spunky eclectic / diabolical /
the blue
Bill
and
Moore blue for my sweater.
Oh, that's pretty.
It is pretty. It's coming out really nice. And I'm spinning, I have to spin 2 bobbins of navy and 1 bobbin of the multicolored. But because I am realizing really quickly that spinning just plain navy blue like this is boring.
Oh, I bet.
I'm going to break it up by spinning this, and then the next bobbin that I start will be multicolored just to break it up. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the multicolored is going to look on the bobbin. I was freaking out because you can see the top part of my bobbin is so much bigger than the bottom part, like it's really skewed out. But then I realized this particular bobbin, my leader is kitchen cotton. It's like this bulky kitchen cotton. I was like, oh yeah, that would do that. So I need to remember to change that leader out to something a little more, a little less bulky. But anyway, this is going along great. Like I said, I've been very busy doing home improvement projects, so I haven't had a lot of time to spin. This represents, it's probably just under 2 ounces. So it's coming. It's just not coming as fast as I would wish, but that's it for my whirlwind romance. And future dates.
Future dates.
Oh, wait, I'm going first.
Yeah.
I already told you my future date. Death Lake Mitten.
I think mine's going to be either the fingerless mittens that I want to do out of that yarn, which I don't have, or the headband. Either one.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That'll be a fast project. You should do the headband first.
Well, the headband's back and forth. Maybe I will.
Because you can bang that out.
The fingerless mitts I could bang out too. That's usually on a size 5.
Yeah,
because it's worsted weight. But yeah, we'll see. But I definitely need a worsted weight project after both finger and weights.
That's a palette cleanser. So that's future dates. So crushes and heartbreaks. My big heartbreak is that our flooring project has been indefinitely delayed. And the weird thing that happened was we paid a guy to come out from Home Depot. We pay $35. They credit it back towards your project. So, but they want him to come out and measure because then they can give you a more accurate estimate, less anything that they might find when they take your floor up,
right.
Like that they might not know about. But they try to give you the closest estimate they can. So the guy came out and he took pictures, and I thought it was weird because I live in an almost 100-year-old house. I think it's a 90-year-old house. And he said, your floor is pretty uneven, but I think they're going to have some solutions for you for that. So I was like, all right. He said they were going to call the next day. After he left, I realized the next day was July 4th. Needless to say, they did not call. But a few days later, during the next business week, I get an automated call from Home Depot saying, Home Depot is calling you with an estimate. And then the phone rang, like in the phone. Over. Yeah, it was like ring, ring, and a guy answers, and he goes, hello, Home Depot. And I said, hi. And he said, what can I do to help you? And I said, like I was kind of expecting it to be somebody who knew I was calling, but apparently it was a call center. I don't know. Anyway, I said, I'm calling about an estimate. And he said, all right. And he had a very thick accent that I can't pinpoint, but I think it was like Eastern European. And I only say that because he kept saying this one phrase over and over in a way that was like cracking me up a little bit. Partly because I didn't know what he was talking about, but he said, I have your estimate here. I'm going to try to copy it. I'm not good at accents. And the estimate is recommending the shit vinyl. And I said, what? The estimate is recommending the shit vinyl. You can hire the general contractor to come in, but they are saying they can't do it. They can do shit vinyl. I said, okay. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. So I said, exactly what is that? And he said, shit vinyl is a kind of flooring. And I said, okay. And he goes, okay, thanks. And he hangs up. So I was like, sheet vinyl. Like, I finally realized. And I didn't know what sheet vinyl was because growing up, we had what was called linoleum. If it was in a sheet, it was linoleum. If it was in a square, it was like peel and stick tile, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I have no idea what sheet vinyl was. And during the conversation, I was kind of thinking that he meant they had to put something down on the floor first before they put the floor on. So I didn't even understand for a minute that he was saying, we cannot have pergo on our floor. It's too uneven and it won't like
probably crack and break.
It'll do what my other flooring did that we installed from IKEA. Will come up. So I said to my husband, well, we have to get, we keep calling it, and excuse my French, shit vinyl. I said, we have to get shit vinyl. So I was like, all right. And I said, I don't even know what that is. So we went to Home Depot last night. I got the call on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we went to Home Depot, Wednesday night after dinner, and we looked at their shit vinyl. And they actually have some really nice, it's much nicer than the linoleum of my youth. I have a sample right here.
Oh, okay, because I was just going to show them what various different sheet vinyls look like.
This is Armstrong shit vinyl and Sentinel Breezewood. It looks much like my Pergo did that I chose. It's pretty realistic. It even has, like, texture on it. Yeah. So it's like wood, and people on the internet said, except you can see it's not. It's vinyl. It has, like, a rubberized backing. So I was like, all right. There were two kinds that they sold. The kind that was thicker, it had a much thicker padding, was $2.57 a square foot, which was exactly the same amount as the Pergo. And then there was this, the 99 cent a square foot, which is thinner, which is like less than half of what the Pergo was. So I was like, no problem. We kind of liked the Pergo, the higher end. We liked it better. It was squishier or whatever. And it has, like, this is a nice, you can see the size of the boards. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit wider board. It was like this big, and it was kind of pretty, like a country plank. So I was like, but it was exactly the same color as this. So I said, well, let's go. I'm assuming that they...
We all know what happens
when they have... I said, I'm assuming that they have all our information is just right in the computer.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's pretty, isn't it? You can't really tell. And I don't really care because I'm going to sell my house. Yeah. So I don't care what's on the floor. So I went over, and there was this guy there. And he was like, can I help you? And I said, yes. I said, we have an estimate in the computer for Pergo. But the guy called and told me that we can't use Pergo. We have to use sheet vinyl. And he goes, okay. And I said, so we picked out a sheet vinyl. We gave him the more expensive one. I said, can you just run the numbers on it and tell us what it's going to cost? And he goes, well, before you can do that, you have to have a guy come out to your house and measure. And I said, no, you don't understand. We had a guy come out to measure. It's in the computer. We got a call. You didn't tell me that. I said, okay, well, the guy came out and he measured, and the people called and said, we can't put Pergo in. It has to be sheet vinyl. Well, you're going to have to pick out some sheet vinyl. And I said, yeah, I have it right here. He goes, well, you didn't tell me that. And I'm like, yes, okay. By now, Jim is like this. So, and then Jim keeps cutting in saying, yeah, they said the floor was really wavy. I was like, dude, nobody said that. I was on the phone. The guy gave me 3 sentences, and all of them were about shit vinyl. Nothing was said about the wavy floor. The man that measured said our floor was wavy, and it is wavy, so we know that. So the guy said, well, all right, well, I'll put this in the computer, and then we'll set up an appointment for someone to come measure your house. I said, they don't need to measure our house. We've had our house measured. The measurements are in there. There should be a number.
There should be information if he pulls up your account.
And so he's like, oh, okay. So I'm like thinking, this man is slow. I mean, he didn't appear slow, but he was like, I don't know, he was like drunk or something. Something was wrong with him. So he's like clicking away and clicking away and clicking away. And he goes, well, it'll be the same as the estimate that they gave you. And I said, they didn't give me an estimate. They said that the estimate was, we recommend you pick out something else. That was the estimate. I said, I need a money estimate. He's like, well, it'll be the same. And I said, okay. At
that point, I'd be like, can I talk to someone else?
Well, I said to Jim, maybe we should just call the guy with the business card that we have. And the guy's like, no, I'm helping you. I can help you. And I said, all right. No, you can't. And he said, those stuff that you picked out is the same cost as the Pergo, so it'll be the same basic estimate. And I said, right. But nobody has given us a money estimate, so we don't know what the estimate is. And I said, is the cost to install sheet vinyl the same as the cost to install Pergo? Because I knew that they were going to do more floor leveling and stuff, and there were like trimming, and there was all these other things. And he was like, oh, literally, he goes, I don't know that. So then this lady comes over, and she's like, let me look it up for you. And she's like paging through this giant book. She's like, I know it's in here somewhere. Finally, we find out that for sheet vinyl, it's about like, Pergo is like $500 to install. Sheet vinyl is like $300 to install. So it would be $200 less. But we still don't know $200 less than what. So she said, there's this lady that's got to call you called the expediter, and she'll give you the estimate. And we just need you to give us what you want and put it into the thing, and then she'll call you. I said, great, that's perfect. It only took us like 25 minutes to get to this point. And she goes, so you need to pick out flooring. I was like, I gave him it, and he put it in the computer. She's like, you did? And he goes, yeah. And she's like, oh, all right, then you're all done. Like, we could have been gone. So I was like, fine. So we leave, and Jim's like, I don't know if I want them doing the floor now because they seem really disorganized. And I said, yeah, but those are just the people that put the things in the computer. They're not like the artisans or the craftsmen or whatever. So today I get a phone call from Home Depot. It was a very nice woman. And she said...
The expediter.
It was the expediter. I can't remember her name, but she's the expediter. She called me up. She gave me an estimate, $2,000. Oh, that's okay. So I was like, no, it was $1,900. I'm sorry, $1,900. So our original estimate for pergo flooring was $1,700 without any measurements.
Okay.
The next estimate is $1,900 with the nicer brand of this. So she starts breaking down the estimate. To tell you some of this stuff. So she's like, this is the estimate. I'm like, all right. And then she starts breaking it down. The flooring that we picked out is going to cost $600 for the materials, which is what the pergo cost because they essentially cost the same thing. So I was like, all right, that sounds good. And then she says, this was the thing where I started going off the rails. The installation is going to cost $400. And that's it's $300 is the minimum, and it's based on how big your kitchen is. So I'm like, okay, $400 for the installation.
So far that's...
So far that's... Oh, I'm sorry. So far that's like $1,000. Plus, we have quarter round that we want them to put on the edging, and that adds like another $150.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right. Then she says, to remove and haul the existing pergo-like floor, $320. I was like, okay. And then to move the refrigerator, $38. And then $109 to actually nail the quarter round into the wall. So it's like $150 to buy the quarter round, and it's $109 to nail it in. And then she told me some other stuff, and it comes out to $1,913. And the flooring cost was it's like $601. So I'm like, okay, thanks. And I said, well, we have the information, and we'll get another estimate, and we'll call you back and let you know if we want to like go on the project. So she's like, all right. So I sent my husband a text, and I said, if we get this shit vinyl, the cheap stuff, we will save $300, almost $400 on the so instead of $600, it would be like $300 or actually $250. So I was like, we should do that, like, because there's the same warranty. It just means there's not as much cushion. Who cares? He's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I said, also, we have a dumpster right outside our house. So depending on when they're going to come in, if we just take the flooring up, we put it in, we can take it up and throw it in the dumpster, that'll save us $321.10. So that's like $500 we can take right off the top. So it would only be $1,200, and I was like, also, we could buy our own trim and put the trim in, although who knows if that'll ever get done.
Personally, just spend the $109.
Well, it's a $259 if you include...
And how long has that trim been undone?
11 years.
Yeah, do it.
So I said, okay. So I said, some of these estimates sound kind of high to me, but I don't know, maybe not. I've never had my floor done before. And we were willing to pay between $2,000 and $2,500 for the flooring. So we heard from our friends, there's a guy that has a family-owned store in our town, and we're going to go see him on Friday, take our estimate sheet with us, because she emailed it to us, and say, this is what we have, these are our dimensions, how much do you charge to do it, and see what the difference is.
Right.
You know, because seriously, if he's like, I can come in next week, I'm happy to walk around on a plywood floor for a week to save $321. I'll take the flooring right up now. Right. So we're going to do that, but that is my heartbreak. So I think this is similar to what we are having. It's okay. It is not my mother's linoleum. It's nicer.
It's not my linoleum.
Yeah, it's nicer.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I know. they've come a long way, baby. They had some tile stuff that, like, I really would have had to touch it to know if it was real. Like, really? It was so real looking. I picked out some for the bathroom because we need to replace in there, too. But if we want the bathroom done, then I have to pay another $35 to have the measuring guy from Home Depot come out again. So I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that. So that's my sad heartbreak.
Any crushes?
No. I got nothing, people.
Right. Crushes and heartbreaks for me. So my crushes, I'm really enjoying my job. I like the fact that I get a nice. I hate those pens. I like that I'm getting up an hour later, although I still come home and want to crash. But I like the fact that I'm home at a decent time for my kids, even though it's 5 days a week. The people I'm working with are nice, and it's nice because even though there's a lot of per diem, it's a fairly set schedule. Like, I'm working with the same people all the time. Really nice. I work with a couple of younger men. One is in the 3rd year of med school. He is Muslim and is doing Ramadan right now. So he's been fasting during daylight hours. He's a really nice kid. And then there's another 33-year-old who's really nice, too. They're just fun. I like working with guys. You need to throw some testosterone in with the estrogen and kind of...
like, level it out, right?
It does. It levels it out. So we've been having a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, it's work as well. But it's not as bad as I first feared it would be. Like, they talk about going to the floor every hour. But what we do is we actually look on the computer every hour, and there's certain things that we have to click and print out. Some of them are just junk, and other times it's not bad. It's a lot of fun. So I'm enjoying it. A heartbreak is, it's kind of a funny heartbreak. It's not even mine. So I've been there. This is my 3rd week. I get a call from my son yesterday stating that, it's funny because we're not allowed to have our cell phones out, which, let me just say, I went to lunch today with 3 younger people. This guy who's 33, another woman, she's got 3 kids. I'd say she's late 20s, early 30s, and then a 24-year-old. All 3 of them were on the phone. I'm like, really, people? Really? I don't have a phone like that. So I pulled out my knitting, got them to talk a little bit. I'm like, your guys are on your phone, I'm on my knitting. So we're not supposed to have phones. Well, yesterday I happened to check my phone just for the heck of it. And I'm glad I did because 5 minutes earlier I got a voicemail from my son. I looked at my phone and said 4 voicemails. I'm like, whoa, something's going on because I don't get voicemails. 2 of them were from the school nurse saying that Zachary was complaining of ear pain earlier in the day. And I'm like, well, my husband probably took care of that one. And I'm like, note to self, give them my work phone number.
So they can get in touch with
you. And then one was something else from a day before. And then Max said he locked himself out of the house. So my husband had him go to the library to pick up some books. And he locked himself out. And it was close to the time that Zachary was going to get dropped off. So I called him. He's borrowing a neighbor's cell phone. Like, where the heck is yours? So much for having a cell phone. He goes, it was dead. I'm like, this is why you need to take care of it. So I call him back, and he's not answering. I'm like, what the heck? So I call the home phone, seeing if somebody would answer. Nobody's answering. So I finally call him back again, or he calls back. And my boss is really a stickler about cell phones. And we have a student with us, and I was willing to let the student draw on me. So the phone rang, and I looked at Donna, my boss. I said, I'm really sorry. I need to take this. I'm really, really sorry. My son's locked out. She goes, no. Go ahead. So I take it, and he goes, I'm locked out. I said, where's Zachary? He goes, I don't know. I said, try and find Zachary. Make sure you get him off the bus. I don't want that bus to leave without...
Because then that's a whole new problem. Now Zachary is going back to the bus barn.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know. So he's like, I think I missed him. I'm like, oh, son of a... So it's a little after 1. So I left work early, just about an hour or so. I apologized to my boss. Nobody even said boo to me today about it. I just felt really bad about it. But
we were supposed to record yesterday, but because of this incident, we could not.
So I get home. First off, I get to the parking lot because how this works is I can't park near the hospital. I have to park on an off-site.
They don't have a lot of parking at this hospital, so it's reserved for patients.
Except for I can park there on the weekend.
Right.
So the off-site parking is like 10 minutes away. It's really not a big deal. Maybe it'll get me to wear my mitts and hats during the winter time. Anyways, side note there. So I call Max again. I said, I'm on my way. I said, did you check to see if Zachary's around the yard somewhere or whatever? Because he has a key in his backpack. Both my boys have keys in their backpack just in case.
Right.
He goes, no, I didn't. My neighbor was letting him stay in the house, which was very nice of her. So I said, all right. I called the house. Who should answer but Zachary?
He was like, hey.
Hi, Mama.
He has no idea anybody's worried. Because why would he?
So I said, oh, they dropped you off. He goes, yeah. I said, okay. I said, there's two things here. A, he had a key, and B, they just dropped him off with, like, nobody checking in, which we're not going to make a stink about because next they're going to want an adult checking in with them, and I can't be there. So I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm not going to say a word about it. And we ended up getting a voicemail later on saying the bus was running late because they had a broken window issue. Figures. So I called Max and I said, get back home. Your brother's there. Write a little note to our neighbor saying thank you for letting him stay in the house and thank you for letting him use the phone. I hate those pens.
Yeah, it's leaking all over my hand.
They leak wicked.
And on my iPad.
So I get home and there's a ladder up.
And she's on the phone with me at this time as she drives on.
So
she's like, there's a ladder. I gotta go.
The way our house is, it's a 2-bedroom cape. Our bedrooms run lengthwise against the house, and then we had an addition put on so that here's the house, and the addition goes like this. So our bedroom window's up here, and the roof to the addition is here. So I'm like, I go in the house. I said, why is there a ladder? He goes, well, I tried to get in the house. I said, okay. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, why do you have a grin like that on your face? Like I hate to say this and I apologize, shit-eating grin. Like
a shit vinyl grin.
Like something, he knows something that doesn't want to, like, you know, one of those, like, I know something, cat that ate the canary type of grin.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you.
He goes, I don't want to talk about it in front of Zachary. I said, all right. I said, you need to tell me. So we go into another room. Apparently somebody called the police on him while he was trying to climb into the house. I said, no, you're joking, right? And I'm like, this is you trying to pull the wall over. I said, really? He goes, I'm serious, Mom. I'm like, who the heck would do that? I know. I was thinking the same thing personally.
I wonder who would do that. I can think of one person who might do that. I know.
So I'm like, really? I said, so, but what's funny is I never got a call. I'm like, wouldn't you think the police would call me?
Once the police realized that he lived there, they were like, oh, great.
He wouldn't. I guess he actually had to go to my neighbor's house to have her verify that, yes, he is who he is. Yes, he does live there. And yes, he got locked out of the house. I said, so would that be when I tried to call you and you didn't answer? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, baby. I said, did we learn our lesson? So I find out what really happened is when he was locking his bike into the shed, he left the keys in the shed and locked the shed. Oh. Because we have a master lock with a key. And I'm like, oh, all right. Because I'm like, what did you learn? He goes, always keep my keys on me and make sure the phone's charged. So then later on that night, my husband's home. I said, you need to talk to Dad. Tell Dad no. Yeah, no. I'm like, he's not going to be mad at you. No. Like, I need to tell Dad no. I'm like, yeah, I have to. I haven't told my husband yet. But
he won't think it's funny.
I think he will. I don't think he's going to get all that upset about it. He'll probably be upset that he could have hurt himself.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about when you said there's a ladder. I was like,
for one thing, it's one of those ladders that bends 3 ways and it was straightened out. I'm like, how the heck did you even do that? And another thing, God forbid he fell, he could have hurt himself.
And there would be nobody there to know.
Exactly. So.
And the good news is, unless it was that person that we think might have been, your neighbors are looking out for you.
Apparently.
If somebody tries to break into your home by obviously placing a ladder in the front of your home to climb up there, somebody will call in.
Which is weird because, I mean, all my neighbors know who he is.
See, that's why I think it's weird. maybe the police
But
were
that
just...
neighbor is so not even in viewing of our house unless they drove by. It could have been that the police happened to be driving by.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Sometimes they just patrol.
And they don't typically, but you never know. It's summertime. A lot of young kids are around, so they could have. But it was just really funny. I'm looking at him when he told me that. I'm like, oh, please tell me you're joking. He goes, no, that's not a joke. And I'm like, oh. But again, I'm really surprised I didn't get a phone call.
I'm surprised the police didn't call you to let you know, ma'am, we found your child locked out.
I know. Unless he said she's on her way or something, because I texted.
Well, I guess once he was in the custody of a neighbor who identified him.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's really weird.
The one good thing I'm grateful for is that he is 13 and is legally allowed to be at home.
Did you know there is no law?
I know, but still, 13-year-olds tend to, because that's when you can babysit, so people, like, if he was, 11 or 12, I could have been written up.
I read that there was a legal age.
A law.
Not in Massachusetts.
Maybe other states. But still, I'm glad that he was old enough that it was not questioned. Do you know what I mean? But still, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, Max.
Now, if you left a 13-year-old alone for multiple days, then you would be in trouble.
I would never do that.
But
I don't even leave my 13-year-old home after dark.
No, I know.
But the good thing about all of this too is really from the time I got the phone call to the time I was home.
Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
No. About like a half an hour, 40 minutes tops.
Does Zachary have an ear infection?
No, they couldn't even see any fluid in his ear.
That's weird.
Yeah, so
I'm telling you.
Okay, so I got a
well, cutting a molar. I'm telling you, it's molar
but it just sounded funny. No, he's got a little bump in there. I think what it was is a bite.
Oh.
So the phone call I got from the nurse was saying that he was complaining of ear pain, which he had been off and on, but she saw fluid in his ears. So I made an appointment. We saw the doctor at 6:30, and she said, no, there's no fluid, and, she goes, I feel a little bite, but it's probably a bump. It's probably a little bite. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that your son didn't get arrested.
Glad
Zachary doesn't have an ear infection. I'm glad that your neighbors are looking out for you while you're working. And I'm glad that Max learned a valuable lesson about keeping his keys where he can find them.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that the better solution would have been to immediately go over to the neighbor's house rather than trying to break in with a ladder.
Well, the better solution is to at least wait for his brother and then panic. Because his brother had a key.
Although now we know if his brother gets dropped off without anyone, he knows to just let himself
See, I think what would have happened is if he had been locked out and had his phone with him and working, he would have called me and I would have said, wait for your brother. 10 to 1, he probably has a key. If he doesn't have a key, call me back and we'll figure it out.
Right.
Because that's what I would have told him. Because my boys, this whole past year, have been carrying keys in their backpack. Just for this purpose in case someone gets somewhere else or whatever. They're old enough.
My daughter carries a key. She's about the same age as your younger son.
A little older. 1 more year older, I think. How old is she?
She just turned 11.
No, sir. Did she?
She's just ahead of him a grade because he delayed
September, yeah.
So she's only a few months older than him. She just turned 11 yesterday.
I thought she was a year older than him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She's a grade above him, but she's the same age.
Oh.
So
right.
she carries a key. She's carried a key for 2 years, just in case something happens. And
yeah, so that's my crushes and heartbreaks. I got paid today, too.
Yay. That's a crush.
Yeah, that's a crush.
So, bottles and bling. I have one.
I still have, I got them. Next week you got to come to my house. No. I still have the skinny yarn that I haven't shown yet.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Isn't that pretty? So this is my Hello Yarn Club. It's gray and goldeny brown orange.
That's pretty.
And peach. And yeah, it's really nice. It's beautiful colors. And it is called Mignardises.
Mignardises?
I think it's French. Mignardises. I don't speak French, so I don't know. Or if it could be Mignardises, but I just don't think that sounds right.
I don't know.
Mignardises.
Yeah, let me write it up in my Google
Translate.
Translate.
Find out. It's on Falkland, and that is the June Club.
Come on.
And I saw on Instagram that sadly Hello Yarn has had a horrible flood in her studio.
Aww.
So I don't know what that's going to mean for the next club. I don't know if it was ready already, or I feel bad for her. A pipe broke and it flooded her dye studio, and that's having lived with 5 feet of water in my basement one time and knowing the havoc and destruction that caused.
Sweets?
Sweets.
Can't be right. Chinese, what the heck? Alright, wait a minute. Do English to French. Let's try that way.
Milliardiste.
Mignardiste.
Milliardiste.
That's if it's French.
I think it is. It means sweets. I don't know what kind of sweets are gray and orange and pink, but they are mignardiste.
See, I'm thinking, well, you know better than I would, but I was thinking German, but...
No, the M-I-G-N seems French to me.
Okay.
So anyway, that was my Baubles and Bling. That's the only thing that I got this week, aside from my shit vinyl.
I got nothing. I'm trying to think, do I have anything?
I'm trying to think, but nothing's happening. And our other Baubles and Bling is the Mash Pea Shawl, which we were gifted by Tian from Knit Designs.
Gossip and Innuendo.
Name we don't really know how to pronounce. Gossip and Innuendo. Alrighty. Number 1. The Convergence Weaving Conference which will have Marketplace, is going on this coming week. Not this current week, but next week. In Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. I might go down there. I was actually talking to my sister-in-law, who is a big weaver. And I told her, I don't know, though, because is a floor guy coming to my house? I don't know. Is my husband ever going to take a day off from work to help me with all this work? I don't know. My kids won't be back until next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. The 19th.
Are we getting finalized? Like, that's a definite?
The 19th is when they're coming. So... I just don't even know. And I told my sister-in-law I was really sorry, but I have to wait and find out what's going on. I would hope that the floor guy could just come and do that. I don't want it to string out any longer than it already has. But
you don't know what his schedule is, so.
No, I just would hope. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be, but I guess from my perspective, we've been dealing with this now for 2.5 weeks.
Right.
From his perspective, we haven't even talked to him yet.
I know.
So, but I'm just tired of dealing with the hassle. I just want it to be over with. So, Convergence, that's coming up. Don't forget about our knit along and our crochet along, and we've already talked about that at the head of the show. And if you have time, check out 2 Knit Lit Chicks audio podcasts to hear about their Mother Bear contest, which is also a charity. Knit along. So, I think that's it.
This is what Wendy's been doing while she's doing it.
That's why I have ink all over my hand. Well, I got most of it off. It also, ink got on my iPad from this. This is
I don't like those pens. They bleed, is what I call them.
Pentel RSVP. We don't like them.
No.
Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but my Fitbit is back. It's back.
I keep saying I want to get one. Because I do so much walking.
Really good customer service. They were amazing. They, thanked me for being a loyal customer. They sent it right out. And they sent me a little email where I clicked on it and helped me set up the new one so that it merged seamlessly with my existing account. Because I was kind of worried about how that was going to work. And it's really nice to have it back on again.
Oh, good.
So I can vouch for their customer service. I think they did a really good job, and A++ would buy again. Good. Let's hope this one lasts longer than a year. My husband's is lasting just fine.
Oh, good.
So is Diane's. So
must be you.
It's me.
Do you wear that in the shower?
No.
Okay.
You're allowed to wear it in the shower or in the pool, but I'm that's asking for something to go wrong with it, so I don't do that. Which is why I was really upset that it died, because I'm I have been above and beyond careful. Like, they're like,
That's
go
funny.
ahead, wear it in the shower. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. It's never gotten wet. I
That's
take it off
funny.
if I'm washing my hands in the sink. You don't have to, but
But you
it
do.
makes me nervous.
Right.
Ever since the cell phone and the
Oh,
bowl
yeah.
incident, I'm concerned about electronics getting wet, even if they tell me it's okay.
That's funny.
So, anyway,
On that note,
that's all we got.
thank you for watching. See you next week in Knit with Heart.
Knit with Heart. Bye.
Bye.